letting out air for tracked into the desert.
Hey, Jessica?
Yep.
Hey, Pop-Pop's just gonna pick up the other phone.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Arlene, for calling. I'll be in touch. Bye. Yeah, we just had a lady visit Grammy with her bad knee, so we're ready. And Pop-Pop's here, too, so we're ready to talk to whatever you got to say.
Hello?
Yay, so.
All right. So, can you guys state your name for me, please?
Are you recording this right now, or?
I am recording right now.
Okay. I'm Barbara Moir.
And I am Bruce Moir.
We are in Oman, Masundin. It's almost sunset, and we are camping. Look at this place. We're about 9,000 feet up. We four-wheeled it all the way up here today. The ferocious Feroza. I'm afraid I was pissing some people off today because I wasn't going fast enough, but that's all right. After flipping in one Suzuki, I decided I would go slow. But we did all right. These are all American Embassy people.
What places did you guys travel to with Pop-Up being in the military, but also when you started also having a different job? What was your other job that you had after the military?
For the first while when we went to Ethiopia in Africa, we were there for a little over a year. Grammy's saying 13 months. And so I got out of the electronics side, and they made me the person, they called it the personnel officer, human resource manager. And that's what I was, and that's where I began to do that. And I did that for my whole career after I got out of the military and everything. And let's see, your question was, where did we travel? Well, there we went through Europe a number of times, in Greece, and, en route, and England, and then
Germany.
Germany, and then down in Africa, we took long road trips.
Blue Nile Falls.
Yeah,
Blue Nile Falls.
I have pictures of that, which we'll send you someday here.
Tell Jessica how many times we moved in 17 years.
Oh, yeah, with Mobile Oil, we moved 13 times.
Wow.
All of these jobs, And that was back in the day when younger people would do that kind of thing. They're not
and our kids were changing schools all the time. When you ask your father how many schools he went to, making friends, and my boys will say it toughened them up. Even though they didn't like it and they had to get started, the new kid in the school, it toughened them up on, this is what you have to do.
And then after that, we did go to, is that when we went to Saudi Arabia? No, let's see, we went to California. I worked in another refinery out there. And then we went to Saudi Arabia, and we went with all four boys, and we lived on a couple years. Yeah, we were there a little. Well, she says 3 years. I was there more than that, 4 years, because I had to go over before she got there. We're building a huge refinery in Saudi Arabia, so I was part of that job.
Mm-hmm.
And so we lived there for 3 years, and then went to school there, and we lived on a company compound, I would call it, of housing, because of the different cultures. We didn't really, we didn't really blend in perfectly with their school systems,
Mm-hmm.
And the language.
And and the Muslim religion and all that. So they let us have our own compound.
I was a stay-at-home mom. I couldn't work.
Good drive.
Right.
Either.
You could only work if you were a nurse or a teacher as a woman over in Saudi Arabia.
And transitioning from the U.S. to Saudi Arabia and the other place that you lived for 7+ years, what was that like? Did it seem was it a tough transition, or did you guys kind of fit right into the system?
Well, Well, maybe for me, going to Saudi Arabia, because I was a mother with kids going to be in school, I knew I couldn't drive. I had to wear modest, on the compound I could wear shorts. I could go to our pool in a bathing suit with a cover-up.
Mm-hmm.
But at the pool, I was okay to take off my cover-up little dress. But in town, I wore a long caftan. They called them long, with my arms covered.
Mm-hmm.
And we could go to the stores modestly dressed. I had to, and behave. Our rules were you behave because you're representing the American company. Don't do anything out of line when you're out shopping or be loud, just be very respectful.
So, and for me in Saudi Arabia, you have to get used to the rigidness, and then there was prayer call at 5 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're driving, you're supposed to pull over and respect the prayer call. I mean, you have to get used to all that. But in Saudi Arabia, there were no women working, period, except for a couple expatriate, ladies from England, but no local women. They were not allowed to work. We're not. Now, Oman, differently. Women were allowed, expatriate women were allowed to drive, and I believe the locals as well, right, huh?
No.
Omani women could not drive?
No.
But yeah, there were differences in the two countries.
And how did it feel to be there with the race that you guys are identified? Was it different? Was it kind of uncomfortable?
We were guests in their country.
We were guests.
In their country.
Just like they're guests when they come here, but they have more freedom here than we're allowed to have in their country. So, there's a different feeling because of that. You're guest, and of course, we didn't want to stay any longer than we had to either.
And
go back home to good old USA. That's what we wanted to do.
Right.
Barbara, I want you to tell us where we are.
We're in the town of Sur.
I mean, where are we right now?
We're in our hotel room in the Sur Beach Resort Hotel. And the accommodations. Well, you don't have to look at my watch.
We as Americans, when we have people in our country that complain about the United States, or they don't like this and they came from somewhere else and they don't like that, go live in a restricted country where you don't have all the freedoms that you have in the United States, and think about how free and wonderful jobs and recreation and churches or faiths, different faiths, Muslim churches here. Think about that and say how wonderful the United States is. Shame on you. Go back to where you came from if you don't like it here. I mean, America is it's a wonderful free country.
You could feel it. Tears in your eyes about, oh my God, we're back home again, the greatest place in the world.